Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to be doing another what if scenario. As I'm sure you guys really enjoyed the last one of these we did when we collided two replicas of the solar system, but this time we're going to be replacing the planet Jupiter with the star TRAPPIST-1. So that star is a red dwarf, if you didn't know. It's around 90 masses of Jupiter as well, so 90 times stronger pull than Jupiter in the solar system. We're going to see sort of what chaos will unfold in this scenario, and I'm also using the solar system all moon simulation, so it's got all of the major moons. So we're going to see what the star does to the 4 Galilean moons as well. We're going to see if it has any extra, causes anything different. We're going to see if it warms them up, for instance. Actually is the main thing. We're going to see sort of what differences it does with the moons in the simulation. Like, will it pull them in, will it just rip them apart? We'll have a look. So let's go ahead and spawn in that TRAPPIST and we'll get started straight away. So, TRAPPIST-1. Okay, TRAPPIST-1, there we go. Okay, cool. Alright, okay. Oh, it looks like it, right. Okay, let's just slow down time. I just want to make sure it actually runs the simulation with the moons there. So we're going to press play. Okay, yeah, okay, I was thinking that would happen. So what we all need to simply do here is, I mean, yeah, we just need to auto-orbit these just to put them back into their correct positions. So we just need to simply press this, then press it for Europa, and then Ganymede and Callisto, and then we're ready to start. So go ahead and do that as well. And then lastly, Callisto. So that's all 4 Galilean moons. They're all reset. So Jupiter's orbit with Jupiter's moons, but with a star instead. So the Galilean system is going to be quite interesting now with all of these guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to save the simulation in case we have any problems. So yeah, we'll just save it as that, whatever. So now we all need to simply do is press play, and then we're ready to start. So TRAPPIST-1 in the solar system. What could possibly go wrong? So as we can see, habitable zones, there's the sun. TRAPPIST-1 all the way down here. So in theory, the Galilean moons should receive some temperature. I mean, they are close enough to the star. 100% they're close enough. So this should be interesting. So you can see Europa's over there. Where's Ganymede? Ganymede's over there, and then Callisto is somewhere. Where's Callisto? Callisto? Anyone home? Where is Callisto? Where did Callisto go? It's it's over there. Okay. Oh, so it's obviously further in the distance, but there's Callisto. Okay, right. So we're going to see the main changes around the Galilean system first, really. Because I mean, that's where it's all going to unfold. So we should see it straight away. Io, for instance, we should see some temperature. 100% we should see. Oh, that's definitely temperature. Now imagine Jupiter's put. Oh dear. Okay. So I was going to say, Jupiter's pull on Io already makes it erupt volcanoes and stuff, right? But what if you multiplied that by 90? 90 times stronger pull than Jupiter, and this is the result. 90 times stronger pull than Jupiter, and you are shredding your poor moon. Poor old Io, it's just too close. It's been torn apart by 90 masses of Jupiter. So Io, a planet that was once squeezed and crushed by Jupiter's pressure, is now being crushed even harder by the TRAPPIST-1. So there we are. What about Europa? Where's Europa? Is Europa all right? Europa may just be far enough away to survive. So yeah, okay, Europa looks all right at the moment. It should start warming up though. I mean, I'd expect it to. I mean, it's close enough to get temperature. What if we put it to 0 degrees? Will that warm it up? Yes, we did. It does warm up. Okay, so it looks like we're going to just manually have to put all of the objects to 0 degrees to probably bump them up. So we'll just see sort of what temperatures all of these guys actually go to, being in orbit of this. So there we are. Okay, cool. So that'll we'll see, and then we'll warm up over time. But yeah, poor old Io. Is it going to even survive? I mean, it's been shredded, but will it actually survive, or will it be just torn to shreds? Europa as well. What's happening there? So it's warmed up to 0 degrees, and it looks like it's also losing material. Oh dear. So poor old Io though has just had it hard. Ganymede, how are you doing? Ganymede's warming up. Yeah. Europa warming up. Okay. Oh, poor old Io. Oh god. Poor thing. It's just been. I mean, it's half of it's turned into probably like a ring system around TRAPPIST-1 here. You can see there's a lot of debris flying around. So really interesting stuff. But yeah, poor old Io. I mean, yeah, very very hot, permanently in the temperature here. So very very hot stuff. I mean, if we look here as well, where we go? If we go, oh man, that's a lot of damage just received there. So it lost a lot of its mass as well. Look, if we look at the radius, I mean, moon, This object used to be as large as the moon, or larger than the moon. Now it's only 0.6 times the radius. So yeah, it's lost almost half its diameter. If we look at the surface here, we can see, yeah, not looking good. I mean, what is all that about? I mean, just look at everything going on here. Poor old Io. Keep an eye on those there. I mean, we don't need these water vapor and all that. I mean, there's no ice on it. I mean, it's all just... Mainly these two we were going to keep an eye on. But yeah, poor old Io is just in the wars there. Oh, there we are. Don't do that. Europa, how you doing? So 2 degrees, warming up. Obviously, we're only travelling at 40 minutes here. So they're not, obviously, we're not going that fast. Then we've also got Ganymede out there warming up. Callisto is still warming up as well. But the rest of the solar system, time to take a peek. So have we seen any changes out here yet? Let's have a look. So, oh, poor old Io. What has just happened to Io? Oh my god. Okay. So everything's done over there. I think what I'll do as well is just around the other planets, I will just delete the moons because I don't think they're not really needed for this simulation. So what we'll do is we'll just go into chart mode actually, just so the simulation runs a little faster, just so it's a little easier. So obviously we don't need Titan, so we can get rid of you. We don't need Triton, obviously, either, so that can go. What else is even in here? Earth. Oh, look at Io now. Hold it. If we just hop back to it, so we ran the simulation for a little longer, and Io has been reduced to nothing. So that's all that's left of Io. So the innermost moon, well, we don't need these anymore. The innermost moon of what was Jupiter has been reduced to absolutely nothing. And it is just a little asteroid now. So Io has had it big time. Big punishment for Io. Yeah, not looking good at all, really. Oh dear, oh dear. So, yeah, that looks painful, I have to say. Oh, man. Okay, so what else we can do? We can obviously don't need Charon around Pluto. Get rid of you. Ariel. Why is Ariel blue around Uranus? What's that all about? Looks cool though, but I mean, doesn't actually look like that, so that's very weird. So let's get rid of Umbriel. I mean, we don't need any of these guys, to be honest, so let's get rid of all of that. Titania, that should be gone as well. Yeah, Titania's gone. Saturn, we got rid of all the Saturn stuff. Phobos and Deimos around Mars, just delete those guys as well. And then other than that, we're clear. So we've got rid of all of the major moons, so there you go. Okay, so that should hopefully run our simulation a little nicer. But anyways, to the solar system itself, obviously, have we had any effects with the orbits yet? Because having that there is going to definitely upset the asteroid belt, probably, and along with Saturn's orbit, probably, as well. Could see an interference there. But back to the Galilean moons, we can see what's left of Io. I mean, oh my god. Poor old Io has just had it rough, hasn't it? Oh dear. Being reduced to nothing. Permanently at 800 odd degrees. All that's left is that. All gone. How's Europa doing? Next planet out. In theory, you could say they're planets now. They're orbiting a star. So in theory, these guys are planets. They're large enough to be planets. So there you are. Europa warming up, 20 degrees almost. That's obviously going to start to melt. So yeah, well, all that water under there, we could see it. I mean, in theory, it should be liquid water already. So if we just melt. Oh, what the heck happened there? Did they just dissolve it? I just melted it. Oh, it is over there. Ah, there you go, okay. So in theory, it should be like this now, a water world. Just an all-water world. So, yeah, that's what it should be like, 'cause it's melted. So, there you go. So that's Europa now, so it's all melted, no more frozen surface. Still warming up, so we'll have to see how hot it gets. So there's the Galilean moons. Actually, how's the other two doing? So Ganymede, obviously the largest planet around this star. It's weird calling it a planet. So 15 degrees. So yeah, they're all warming up. And Callisto, the last of them, 6 degrees. So yeah, all 4 moons have had temperature. And that's pretty easy because, I mean, they're all in that red zone in the middle there. So, okay. Right, so moving on. Let's try and speed up things really fast now. So solar system itself. We can already see dwarf planets are having interactions here. All we can see is that center there. The dwarf planets are being hurt by this big time. Obviously having a huge presence in there. 90 times more massive than Jupiter. Or 93 times more massive than Jupiter. That's having some massive consequences for the outer solar system areas in the Kuiper belt. So as time progresses though, we're going to see sort of what... I mean, this is... Oh, we can see an asteroid belt object, Hygeia, has been pulled by TRAPPIST. But is it going to hang on or not? That's not looking good, is it? So, I mean, it's pulling objects away from the sun. Yep, so you can see Hygeia. It is ripping stuff from asteroid belt areas. So, it looks like it's actually going to steal some objects from the sun. So, that's not looking too good. How are the inner planets doing? I mean, in theory, the inner planets should be okay. I mean, as long as they orbit the sun, I mean, TRAPPIST can't really do anything. It's out of range. It's not going to affect the Earth's temperature because Earth is way out of the range of TRAPPIST. Look, it's not receiving any light from TRAPPIST. I mean, let's go ahead and land in Australia here. And if we just look up in the sky, I mean, we'll see TRAPPIST, obviously. So if we look up, there's TRAPPIST. You can also see, you may be able to spot some of the Galileo moons there as well. But obviously TRAPPIST is out of range to actually hurt Earth in any way. It's way out of the habitable zones. It's not luminous enough to actually hurt Earth. So, in theory, Earth can run like this with 2 stars in the solar system. In this circumstance, TRAPPIST-1 isn't as dangerous as the Sun anyway. So, interesting stuff. We can see the Sun has actually moved as well. It's been pulled, obviously, by TRAPPIST-1's presence. And we can sort of see something interesting here happening. See, a lot of the asteroid belt objects are going to turn into sort of comets being slung inwards and outwards of both stars. What's that over there? So there's another asteroid belt object. So that's been pulled into TRAPPIST's pool. Back onto the Galileo moons, though. So Io still hanging on in there. I mean, at 38 kilometers, it's literally just an asteroid now. Nothing left at all. Europa. 200 degrees at Europa. So Europa has evaporated. All the water that was once on it, all evaporated. And it's now just rock. I'm guessing all the water vapor probably has been released. Yeah, it's lost all of its water. So all that's left is the rocky bit in the middle. So poor old Europa. So what made it unique is all gone. So poor old Europa's lost that. Ganymede, how are you doing? 180 degrees at Ganymede. And Callisto, the coolest of them all, 105. So even Callisto's range, still too hot. So they're too close. Because look, Callisto, not even in the green zone. They're just too close. So poor Galilean moon. So they've all been spiced up. But back onto the solar system, let's actually let the system run as fast as we can go. I mean, this is, yeah, but this is the fastest we can go. So we can see what sort of chaos is going to unfold here. So we can see it's pulled away asteroid belt objects. Lots of Ceres. Look, Ceres has been stolen by TRAPPIST-1. Look at that. Imagine if it actually becomes a legitimate, like, moon around it. Oh. So Ceres is on a bit of a dangerous course with TRAPPIST-1. I mean, it could have a collision with one of the Galilean moons if it's not careful. I mean, poor old Ceres. So as it goes, it's going to approach TRAPPIST again. We're going to actually watch it as it approaches. So we can see Ceres. So you can see it's approaching the Galilean system. Oh my god. Oh! 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 Okay. Past the orbit of Uranus. Past the orbit of Neptune. It's gone. Ceres, what has happened, my man? It's gone. Into the darkness. Oh! Ceres. It's gone. Ejected. Completely gone. Absolutely just slung out at high speed. And we watched that in like the first person perspective of Ceres. Poor Ceres. Alrighty. So Galileo moons, they're all sitting nicely in there. But obviously more asteroid belt objects stolen. So it can steal them, it can eject them. Not looking good for the asteroid belt stuff. I mean, what's next? So Saturn. I'm going to be interested to see what happens when Saturn has a close-by flyby with TRAPPIST. Because it could have an effect with Saturn. It definitely is possible, I think. So, there we are. Dwarf planet orbits, you can see, are absolutely insane. I mean, look at all of these. I mean, what is all that about? As you can see, dwarf planets are not looking very good at all in here. Inner solar system, how are we doing? I mean, yeah, all of the planets are fine. Up to Venus. So where's Mars? So Mars is there. Yep, Mars is looking fine. Yep. In its normal sort of positions. It's just out of that range of TRAPPIST. The Sun is still the stronger presence. Because if we look at the Sun, remember the Sun is about 1,000 Jupiters. So if we go here, Jupiter, 1,048 Jupiters. TRAPPIST-1 is only 93. So obviously the Sun is over 10 times stronger gravitational pull than TRAPPIST has. So yeah, the inner planets, as long as they're closer to the Sun, they should be completely fine. So that's cool. So yeah, we can see that the solar system, or the Earth in particular, can actually live as normal with TRAPPIST-1 being in the solar system. So quite an interesting thing. Were any of you guys thinking that? Because yeah, I mean, obviously if we were to put a sun-sized star, that wouldn't be possible. But TRAPPIST-1, it's small enough to actually allow Earth to just be as normal. And Earth is at normal temperatures here. Obviously you'd have an extra star in the night sky, but none of that light would really reach the Earth and actually light it up or anything because it's so far away. And it's just not bright enough, so yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. Because see, how's it doing over here? So what's that? Saturn. Oh my! Saturn has been pulled out of its orbit by TRAPPIST. If that pulls it into the inner solar system area, that is going to be chaos. So let's see, how's this going to put? Oh, so Saturn's orbit has been bent out to the orbit of Uranus. So, oh, Saturn's been punished hard there. So, there's only 0.299 Jupiters, remember. So, Saturn isn't very massive compared to Jupiter. It's only 95 Earths. So, Yeah, Saturn, big effect at Saturn there. That is not good at all. But yeah, there we are. So back to the Galileo moons. I think we can actually delete these because they're actually slowing our simulation down. But we can see the outcome of the Galileo moons. I mean, there's nothing's going to change here now. Obviously, Io has been just dissolved in nothingness. We saw it get shredded apart. Europa, it's just 200 degrees. I mean, nothing else is even going on at any of these guys. So we don't need them because they're just slowing our simulation down. We'll delete any extra particles, press play, and obviously simulation will run a lot faster now. So that's cool. Right, so now we're going to see. Just so we know where Saturn is, I'm actually going to just highlight it in a brighter colour because it's quite hard to spot with all the asteroid orbits. So there's Saturn, nice yellow, so we know there's Saturn. Also Uranus out here. We'll just do the normal, we'll just brighten them up so we can actually see who's who. So yeah, we'll just do it with the outer planets for now. So there you go. Because the inner planets, again, they're fine. So it's just the outer planets. But you see the asteroid belt as well, just absolute chaos in the asteroid belt. I mean, what we could do as well, we'll do it temporary. I don't know if we'll just see how the simulation plays. But we're going to add the asteroid belt to the sun. And we're going to see just what chaos unfolds. So we'll add the asteroid belt. We'll just give it custom settings. So we'll make it just a white asteroid coloured belt so we can just see everything easier. Add the ring to the sun. So there you go. So you can see them easy. Press play. We're going to see what happens to the asteroid belt. You can see it really slows the simulation down. But you're going to see it, all of these asteroids. Look, they're getting sucked into TRAPPIST straight away. You can see all of the asteroids nearby. Yeah, not looking good. And you can see, yeah, that's bad. Does it run any faster like that? No. But yeah, you can see it. They're going to have the same sort of fate as all these other asteroid belt objects. We'll just go ahead and delete that because it's just, yeah, it won't run. So, there you are. Okay, so Saturn, keep an eye on that yellow orbit, because I think a close enough interaction could have devastating consequences. If Saturn has any interaction with TRAPPIST and makes it go inwards to the inner solar system, we could see the end of Earth. Come on, TRAPPIST. Okay, close by lies Saturn. What's going to happen? Saturn has been pulled. Well, Saturn's got a bigger orbit, so it is hanging on in there. But if Saturn gets closer than TRAPPIST, if it gets pulled in and it gets close enough to the inner solar system, it could affect Earth. So, maybe Earth's time is limited. Oh, what's that? What's that? It's just Vesta. Oh, Vesta is now entering the inner solar system area. So that could, in theory, be an object to collide with Earth. And remember, obviously, if TRAPPIST is having this much interaction with the asteroid belt, obviously Earth, Jupiter, already can shoot asteroids into the inner solar system and cause a bit of trouble. But with TRAPPIST-1, 90 times more powerful with the mass, a lot of asteroids could get tossed into the Earth's orbit. So we could see, in theory, also Universe Sandbox can't really show us this, but a lot of those thousands and thousands of asteroids could be launched at the inner planets. And that could, in theory, harm Earth. Could harm Earth big time, in theory. I mean, an asteroid that killed the dinosaurs could hit, in theory, again. Something pretty big. So it could be pretty dangerous. I mean, with the asteroid belt there, I mean, Earth is fine simulation-wise, but obviously, in the grand scheme of things, in reality, TRAPPIST-1 would be shooting a lot of asteroids into the inner solar system, and they'd be going all over the place. So it'd be very dangerous to see what goes on there. Saturn, again, it seems to be having interactions with TRAPPIST, but it's not actually pulling it inwards, because TRAPPIST keeps leaving it behind, so it just keeps orbiting the sun again. So every time TRAPPIST goes around, though, it does pull Saturn a little closer, but maybe it will grab it enough and actually pull it in close enough where it will actually stick around a little longer, but we'll have to wait and see. As for the rest of the solar system, I mean, look, you can see dwarf planet orbits are going to go absolutely hectic. I mean, look at that. I mean, they're constantly changing. Nothing's the same. So, I mean, we can try and run it a little faster. Let's just go around the sun again, just so it runs nice and easy. So you can see the inner solar system, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, they're all fine. But we can see, look, just keep an eye on Saturn and TRAPPIST. You can see Saturn's orbit is constantly being hurt. Look, Saturn's going all the way out to, like, Neptune now. So if we just pause, obviously Neptune and Uranus are being harmed by it as well. You can see their orbits are constantly changing. That TRAPPIST-1 effect is having huge chaos in the outer solar system. The whole outer solar system is unstable. Saturn far away as Neptune now. Look at that. So yeah, Uranus, in theory, can be closer at some points now. So we can see Saturn is having a close approach again. It's coming in hot. It loops back round. But yeah, maybe Saturn could have a serious... Maybe it get ejected like Planet 9, in theory. Something like that. I mean, it's getting pretty far out. I mean, if we just pause, Saturn's got the biggest orbit out of all the planets. But you can see Neptune as well. As it orbits around, Neptune's orbit does get large as well. So you can see it all just depends where the star is. TRAPPIST-1 is constantly changing these orbits every second. Or every time spent in this simulation running, everything is changing constantly. So, There we are. That's why we can't run the asteroid belt, because the game's got to simulate every object individually. And obviously with the asteroid belt, that's thousands and thousands of objects for the computer to work out at the same time. So yeah, it's just easier not to have the asteroids, unfortunately. But I mean, in theory, you still have Pallas and all that, all of those guys chilling in there, so they'll still have an effect. It's actually got Chiron and Charlico in here as well. Those little objects that orbit between like Saturn and Uranus, they're in here as well. So you can see they're having some effects as well, which is pretty crazy stuff. So we're travelling at 5 years. Can we go any faster? Oh my god. Oh! Oh! Saturn has finally been picked up by TRAPPIST. We saw it enter the inner solar system for a second there. Oh, Saturn, what has happened? Oh, that is dangerous. Saturn being that close to the sun. All it takes is it to get launched into the inner solar system, as we can see. And this could have dramatic effects for the inner solar system. If we look from Earth's perspective now, we could actually spot Saturn in the inner solar system, near the sun. Where is it? Saturn. There's TRAPPIST. Where's Saturn? Saturn's there. You can see it. It is there. So you can see Saturn. Oh, yes, you can see it in the camera. Oh, man. So, okay, so what happened to Saturn? Is that going to be slung out? Oh, it's on a bit of a dodgy orbit now, but it's flying through the inner solar system. That could hurt the inner planets. I mean, Saturn, obviously not as big as Jupiter or TRAPPIST, but it still has a big presence in the inner solar system, and it could cause chaos. So it's all about all the objects just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Saturn could have drastic effects here. Now it's broken away from TRAPPIST. So as we can see, if it slingshots in the sun here, it could hurt the inner solar system big time. And as we can see, it really could be end of the line here. So we can see for a few years, Earth can run fine, but as soon as Saturn's orbit gets upset by TRAPPIST, then it will start to upset the inner solar system after a while. So Earth, yeah, may be fine at first, but as soon as all the asteroids start getting slung around and stuff, it will either be bombarded or slung out, or its orbit will be hurt by Saturn, stuff like that. You can see that Saturn orbit is very dodgy, but it all depends if it just flies and meets TRAPPIST on its way back. Because if it crashes near TRAPPIST again, its orbit will change again. So it's all about just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and TRAPPIST just needs to pick it up. So let's see how this works. So you can see Saturn, every time it comes in the inner solar system, we could see it change. So there it is. So it's about to approach the inner solar system again. Look at the orbits. I mean, that is chaos. Every time it slings in and out of the inner solar system, we could see... Oh my god, look at that. It's really banging around in there now. I mean, if it flies all the way through Mercury's orbit, I mean, that is going to be very hectic there. It flies around again. Oh my god, here we go. Look at that orbit. Now that could really hurt the inner solar system now, as long as it doesn't meet TRAPPIST, which it may here. No, it's flying back in again, but that is a very insane orbit. I mean, let's actually look at Earth's characteristics. How's Earth actually doing orbit-wise? I mean, is it been knocked off course? So it only takes 11.6 months to orbit the sun, so it's actually lost 0.4 months. So what's happened there? So you can keep an eye, and we'll see how every time Saturn flies in, it could change these orbits. So watch as Saturn. You can see it's constantly changing as Saturn and TRAPPIST fly around. So Earth is having a changing effect, changing conditions. So its orbital period is still the same, but I reckon after a while that could be changed. So although its major axis and stuff is slightly altering, it's still in the fine position for the sun to keep its temperature comfortable. But it's all about just what TRAPPIST and Saturn do. It really affects the Earth. The sun hasn't changed. It's just these other two are just flying around. So we can see there. That's gonna. I mean, Saturn in theory could pick up one of the inner planets as a moon. So it all just depends if Saturn gets close enough to the Earth to cause any effects. How's the outer solar system? See Uranus and stuff. I mean, yeah, I don't think Uranus or Neptune will ever get close enough to TRAPPIST for it to pull them away from the sun's sort of power. But I mean, their orbits are still being affected by the presence of TRAPPIST in there. So it's all about just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. There we go, Saturn's orbit again. We'll go a little faster here. Keep an eye on Earth stats though. 11.6 months. And just see if anything changes. The semi-major axis. I mean, that's constantly changing really anyway. I mean, it's never the same. So it does wobble around, but we can see here that is very hectic stuff. Go on trails. That's a little bit. So that's kind of a better view of what's going on. So you can see the sun is being pulled around a lot by TRAPPIST, and Saturn's slinging in there as well, having some insane orbits. I mean, that is very hectic. You can see the sun is constantly being barged around by it. It's nothing staying the same. It's always constantly moving. Obviously, in orbit mode you can't see that, but trail mode you get a better sort of look into what's actually going on. So really insane stuff. We're going any faster. Oh, Saturn, another change from Saturn. You can see Earth's climate's a little wobbly as well. Ooh. So TRAPPIST. Oh, Saturn. Oh, big slot out from Saturn there. So Saturn's got a bit of a comet orbit going on. You can see it's really, really... Oh, man. That's pretty dangerous stuff. That's very, very dangerous stuff. Go back to orbits here. The orbits is still... I'm very impressed that the inner solar system managed to hold on for as long as it has. I mean, nothing has really had much effect here. I mean, everything still seems to be behaving in perfect order in the inner solar system, but it's just the outer solar system is absolute chaos. But yeah, everything in the inner system seems to be alright. But if we just look as well, no objects left in the asteroid belt. Every single one has gone. All of it, Ceres, Vesta, Pallas, all of those guys, all gone. All of them. All been ejected, slung to the outer solar system. Every single one's gone. None of them are left. And what is all this about? Look, all of these guys. Europa. I thought I deleted Europa. Vesta, there's Vesta. Saturn's actually been ejected as well, so had a close interaction with Sun. Juno, Pallas, all of these asteroid belt objects, all been slung out. That's insane. So what happened to Europa? I thought I deleted Europa. Well, it's something's left of it. What is that all about? Not sure what that's all about, but that's weird. Okay. But yeah, there you are. So I think with Saturn now gone, I mean, in theory, this will just keep doing that forever. I mean, there's no objects for the star to push around anymore. Uranus is too far away for the star to, or for TRAPPIST-1 to affect. So, I mean, in theory, this is just the way this simulation ends. Saturn, it either flies in or it gets ejected eventually. I mean, obviously by the sun slingshotting it, TRAPPIST slingshotting it, and obviously as we saw, it got the wrong end of the stick there and it got ejected. So there you go, and that's all that's left with the solar system. So asteroid belt torn to shreds, but all the inner planets, they're fine. Completely fine. So after a long time, even if an asteroid did hit Earth and kill everyone, Earth would eventually recover and just be back to normal. I mean, its temperatures, Earth is completely fine temperature-wise. Look, no changes. It's all sitting in comfortable temperatures. It did lose a bit of its year, but I don't think that's enough to really hurt it. It seems to be okay. So there you go. That is what happens if TRAPPIST-1 replaces Jupiter. So as we saw, firstly, the moons of Jupiter, Io got torn to shreds. All of the other ones got warmed up. Europa pretty much like evaporated away as well, lost all of its water. Obviously, Ganymede and Callisto, they're a little hard on. They survived. I mean, they were just warmed up. But obviously, we just deleted them to make the simulation run quicker. But yeah, they were fine. And then obviously, onto the solar system itself. Asteroid belt, all of the objects got slung around everywhere. We can see in the solar system is fine. Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, all of their orbits were changed to be on repair. And Saturn was completely ejected. So there's our results of this simulation. Obviously, everyone who runs this simulation, you could get different results. But yeah, that's what we've got from my experiment. So hopefully you guys have all enjoyed this. And yeah, if you did, let me know down below what you think in the comments of this. Any other experiments we could try, any other what-ifs, let me know as well. I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on what we could see next. And yeah, guys, I really, really hope you enjoyed it. So let's see if we can go for 50 likes on today's video, guys. Subscribe for more. Helps on the journey to 23,000 subscribers. Make sure to stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day. Have a nice Christmas as well. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.